despite the fact that I like to say that I'm not really like a nature girl, there's something about this environment, and maybe it's the fact that I have a glass of wine in my hand.
It's probably...
Maybe that's helping. But I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I am a real, like, rural type bitch. Like, maybe I'm really more...
On the most active part of the vineyard.
Okay.
In the last 2 weeks, we've had multiple sightings of different mountain lions, and that will quickly check you like,
that
ooh!
part scares me, yes.
Or
yes.
like
Okay.
the week that I had a tarantula in my shop, or when I had a wolf spider in my office.
Girl,
you constantly have to check it like,
no.
is this for me?
Is this
like,
for me?
Is this for me? I have no idea.
But the thing is, this is just so. Can we get a shot of it? This is so fucking beautiful.
This is some of my 20-year-old Cabernet Sauvignon.
And you need this much acreage to sort of like produce the wine that you are going to, I don't know, create. I don't know the word for it, but you need this much. How many grapes are you getting, like, sort of per, I don't know, vine?
So we don't do it by vine, we do it by acre.
Okay.
And in this block, we're probably getting 4.5 tons per acre, one of the larger producing blocks on site.
Okay,
well, we are coming up on one of my favorite blocks on site.
Ooh, tell me.
My E13 Zinfandel, and we should see some bud break. And I love this block because I have 3 of my favorite wine partnerships out of this block. Brown Estate, the first family, the first African-American family in Napa.
Awesome.
Limerick Lane, located up in Healdsburg, another really, really fantastic producer. And then the very iconic Turley Wine Cellars.
Look at these.
Look at the green.
I've never seen these up close and personal.
Look at my babies.
Okay, so wait, so you were talking about bud break. First of all, define what that means. Bud break.
These are
these
buds.
little
my babies. My true babies.
Oh my gosh. So these are
this vine is 131 years old.
This
was planted
in
1893.
Holy shit. This has been growing for that long?
Yeah, the whole vineyard's 138 years old. Was established in 1886.
Wow. Oh my God, how incredible. How special.
This is the beginning. Wow. This is what we will protect for 8 months until we're ready to harvest fruit. So can you imagine? So like, again, what we were talking about when people are like, oh my God, grapes start from a plant. And when you see this, you can't imagine that you're going to get this, almost 1 pound a piece clusters. And you're going to get 2 of them from each shoot. So you're going to have 4 pounds hanging off of this. People cannot envision that grapes start before grapes.
Right.
Grapes start from flowers
like,
and
from
inflorescence.
Right.
Like I just came out here and squeezed some stuff. Like, no. You see this wonderful development of something that turns into these, bulbous, water-filled berries. And so when you see this wonderful beginning stage, for me, I'm like, it's the beginning. This is the start.
This is actually so when would we see a full blooming or however you call it?
In 2 months.
In 2 months.
It's fast. Yep, it's fast. In 2 months, we'll probably be at full canopy.
And so what are these grapes? What are these going to produce? What kind of wines?
This is all Zinfandel. So
all
these are very, very historic vines.
I have to say, with their sort of gnarled and dark, twisty...
They're called gnarly vines. Gnarly vines in.
It's actually quite beautiful,
yes.
I have to say.
They became gnarly because we kept the pruning cuts on the same side as to not create scar tissue that interrupted the nutrient flow. So every year, you're probably not taking the most ideal cutting, but it meant like that position could stay alive, but it also meant you were probably picking up anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches of growth every year that would start to turn just ever slightly. So knowing that these vines were planted in 1893, they're pretty gnarly.
Gnarly, dude.
They're pretty gnarly.
Gnarly.
And we are so challenged and limited operationally that the actual transition and reaction to being organic, which essentially just limits and changes the toolbox that you can utilize. We're already there because this vineyard is naturally challenging given the hillsides, given the really old vines, given the amount of vigor we have on the ranch. Like, we're already there. So the transition is significantly easier for us than it may be for others.
Gotcha. The fact that you manage all of this is like overwhelming.
Everything the sun hits.
Everything the sun hits is hers. So does that mean that you're literally going and like looking at every single, no way.
My team is.
Right. Yeah. Looking at every single one, making sure they're healthy, they're producing, they're growing. Like that's so much.
It's rare that these days, given all of the facets of my job, that I can just hop on an ATV and see.
Yeah.
But I grew up on this vineyard, not just as an intern, but as a viticulturalist. So I know my hot spots. And I have teams that now look at the vineyard through the same lens as I am. I tell them how I'm thinking. Every Monday, we're always planned 2 weeks out. I bring them onto my plan. I'm like, what have you guys seen before? How are we tracking? We moving faster? We moving slower? We're right on time? What are we doing? I've brought back the wines from every producer. So when they know we're using the white glove treatment here and maybe we're keeping standard over here, they understand why. My team is good because they have bought in to what we are doing. It is a group effort. So while I'm not still out here pounding steaks, I am out here making them understand why Brown Estate wants their section this way versus Limerick Lane versus Turley. When they start to understand that nitty gritty, they trust the process and they trust the change that comes with new technology and new knowledge being brought out to the vineyard. So I no longer get lectured for hours on days, but I do get questions. I do get people challenging me and telling me, no, that doesn't make sense. And I do get the opportunity to have them understand why I think this is the best way. And quite frankly, if they come at me and say, actually, this makes more sense and this is why, we can have that back and forth and we can have that dialogue because I know they're more important than me on this vineyard. And we all have buy-in. This success, this wonderful Cabernet Franc that we have is ours. So, my team is brought in to where if they're out here in E13 looking at something and they're like, Brenae, something doesn't quite feel right, I'm going to hop in my truck and come on down and walk in here with them. We're going to have the conversation. We're going to be talking. There are times I'm in market out on the East Coast and still managing things here. But my team has gotten so good, whether I'm on site or off site, my vineyard runs. There's credibility there and there's trust there. So I've built my team to be just as good, if not better, than I am. And we're always learning.
That sounds like boss behavior to me.
But yeah, like this is, I mean, this isn't easy. You might spend 2 minutes here, 1 minute there, 5 minutes over here. So like when they know what the goals are, when they know what balance on these vines mean, when they know that we want this vineyard to go another 138 years, like that's bigger than us.
How long can these vines live?
38 years and counting.
I mean, that is insane to me. Like how, with all the talk of like climate change and sustainability and things like that, I feel like nature is strong.
Vines
nature
are
is
persevere. They've persevered through wars. They've persevered through snow. They've persevered through extreme climate change.
The fact that this has been here 138
They've persevered
years?
through 11 different vineyard managers. I'm the 11th.
Lucky number 11.
They've persevered through a lot.
So take me through your day here. What's a day in the life on Monte Rosso Vineyard, like you're getting up in the morning and after baby goes to school, what happens?
Kind of depends. We're at this, like, literally the helm of, like, what's about to be the busiest part of the season. So it's the spring. Vines are growing. I now have something to protect. So we are implementing a couple different farming passes, all happening simultaneously because it's such a rapid part of growth in the season. So now I'm coming back on site. I've spent the last month just going around and visiting all my partnerships, tasting through wines that are about to be bottled, tasting through vintage 23, just trying to get an understanding for the business. The industry is in kind of a weird place right now. So I want to go get a temperature check. I want them to more so understand that I'm here as a position of support because when they win, I win.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that for the last month. Now I'm pretty much home based because I've got sprays happening. I've got irrigation with the fertility going through. We're composting. I'm starting landscaping. We're mowing all over the place. You saw earlier my Kimco's just showed up. So that's going to start tomorrow. I'm going to make sure everybody has the right maps. It's a lot. This is busier than harvest. Harvest, all you got to do is, survive the night, pick the amount of tons that you're on the hook for, and that's it.
And when does harvest, I'm sorry to interrupt, when does harvest start, actually?
For Monte Rosso, it usually starts mid-August and goes until the end of October.
And so you've literally got people going to all these different vines
at night with
where
headlamps.
These buds.
Yep.
And so they start here,
and they'll grow about
babies, and
10
they'll grow
to 14
out,
feet.
And then everyone's just grabbing the grapes, putting them in a basket or something like this, and then they
carrying them out to the tractor.
Wow.
So in these blocks, by the time we get to June, we can no longer fit a tractor through them. So we section the blocks so that we can stage the tractors outside, and the men and women are carrying 40 to 60 pound totes of fruit up these hills and on the sides to get it back to the tractor.
The physical labor that goes into these things that we enjoy in our fancy dresses, at our fancy dinners, it's like, that's the part of it that is so amazing to me. And the part that I really like to share is like, it's that sort of understanding of, like we talked about, everything coming from the ground and how much work goes into it. And that's the part that I think that people really need to understand, is that this is a very physically demanding, sensitive job.
I don't think enough people have the understanding or even the compassion for the teams that manage this. Monte Rosso Vineyard cannot be farmed by a machine.
Right.
So when you drink a Monte Rosso wine, I may pop into your mind, the winemaker may pop into your mind, but it's the men and women that are literally trekking through all 250 acres planted that make it possible for us to have it.
Yeah.
So when you think of laws around immigration, when you think of laws around what farm workers unions are asking for and things like that, people want to fight. And they don't understand, without those teams and those crews and those management companies, we wouldn't have this. You like Monte Rosso, but how much?
But how much? How much?
Are you going to protect the people who are in here doing it?
Absolutely.
Are you going to protect them through retirement? Are you going to protect them in their day-to-day and their families? This is physical labor. And I can tell you right now, 90% of people would not be able to do that kind of work.
No way.
So understand, this is 100% a luxury, and it's not because they're grapes.
Right.
It's the people that do it.
It's the people
and it's not
it.
me. So thank you. But I'm not sugar honey iced tea. Like, if I went away tomorrow,
they would still be doing it.
You would still have that team doing it.
I need to come back when the grapes are graping.
Yeah.
Do you taste them?
Yeah.
You pick and sort of like taste, and you
that
can
would
tell,
be July and August when they start to go through veraison and change color into purple.
And you can tell when it's time to pull them based on the taste. Also, obviously, because you've been doing this forever. Yeah. But you can pull and be like, yes, this is the time.
We'll start tasting the grapes, so you know how that's going to evolve into this. Yep.
Does it change every time, or is it around the same time every time?
There's a range of like 7 to 10 days.
Right.
That you're always
okay.
within.
That's actually
it's not a big window.
Right. Yeah. What I love is the fact that like it took me having a glass of wine and walking through this and talking to you to be like, actually, I do like nature.
Nia, I will tell you right now, there is no other vineyard that you will walk through that will be like Monte Rosso. And that's not me being pompous.
Okay.
But there's no other Monte Rosso.
Yo, talk your shit though. So. Also, talk your shit.
There really isn't.
It. I absolutely love it.
People regard Monte Rosso into like, you know, the kingdom. This is the motherland for a lot of vineyards. And so there's no other Monte Rosso, and a lot of people don't get access to do this. So thank you for showcasing my beautiful
thank you for
office.
having me. This is beyond. Like, I just, again, as someone who's sort of still learning about wine and appreciating it, to be able to come here and to see like where it comes from, this just, it makes me love it even more.
I'm just proud because I've built a brand, I've built a foundation of knowledge, and I've made it welcome for our community of all spectrums within our community to feel welcome here and to do business here. I'm a steward of the land. That's why I tell people, I'm like, no, I'm a farmer. I'm not standing there with my overalls and my pitchfork, but I'm a farmer.
I was going to say, but
she
where
looks
your
all
overalls,
different.
though?
I'm farming in like year 3000.
No, but that's okay. That's okay. She doesn't have to be old MacDonald had a farm. She could be like new MacDonald was a bad bitch.
Right. New Royal was
New
that
Royal.
girl.
Cheers to that. I love it.